Hey guys, I'm John Sessler. Welcome back to Man Cave Meals. Today we are going to fire up the Alfa wood-fired oven and we're going to make a pan of lasagna. So let's get started. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fire up the Alfa oven before we get started putting our lasagna together. I've already done some prep on getting the lasagna ingredients ready to go, so it won't take us so long to put it together. But I'm going to fire this oven up and I'm just going to try to keep my eye on it because we're going to cook today at a temperature of around 375 to 400 Fahrenheit. So we'll just play with the oven and get it right along in there, and we'll come back and put the lasagna on at that time. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you how we're going to make the lasagna. Okay, let's start putting this lasagna together. I've got two pieces of bread that's kind of a hearty sandwich bread that I've just torn into small pieces and put it in the mixing bowl, and to that I'm going to add 1/4 cup of milk, and I'm just going to get in here with my hand and get that work together and get that milk and bread kind of mixed up about like that. And then we're going to put our meat in. I've got 1.5 pounds here of lean ground beef. I'm using a 90-10, and I'm just going to work that together about like you would a meatloaf until I get that bread and ground beef completely combined. And during the process of combining that, I'm going to add some salt and some black pepper, and I'll keep mixing that, and I'll give you these ingredients quantities all in the video description. Okay, I've got a Dutch oven going here, and I'm going to put in about 1 tablespoon of extra olive oil and heat that until it's shimmering. Okay, I've got this oil hot, and I've got a chopped onion that we're going to put in here and cook about 5 minutes or so, stirring until these onions start to become translucent. Okay, after these onions have softened up, I've got 6 cloves of finely minced garlic that I minced with my microplane grater. We're going to put that in there. I've got some dried oregano and some red pepper flakes, and we're going to stir this in here, cook this for about 1 minute until all that becomes nice and fragrant. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our meat, and we're going to cook this until that meat's browned, and I'm going to break it up as well as I can here with the wooden spoon to get that cooked. Okay, after I get all that beef browned up, I'm going to add one 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, and I'm going to stir that in, and we're going to bring that up to a simmer. Okay, after that comes back to a simmer, I'm going to reduce the heat down to medium-low, and we're going to let this simmer here for about 5 to 10 minutes to let those flavors come together. Okay, now we're going to put together our cream sauce, and I'm going to start out with some cottage cheese, some heavy cream, some grated pecorino romano, some minced garlic, some little bit of cornstarch, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of black pepper. And I'm just going to stir that until we get that completely mixed up, and I'm just going to set this aside in the refrigerator until we're ready to come back and build our lasagna. Our oven is almost up to temperature. Okay, I've taken my 9x13 dish and I've greased it with cooking spray. I've laid out 3 of our lasagna noodles, and I'm going to take about 1.5 cups or so of our meat sauce, and we're going to spread that out on those noodles. This doesn't have to be perfect here, you just want to get it as kind of even as you can. Then we're going to take about 1/2 cup of our cream sauce, and we're going to spread it out on there. And then we're going to take about 1/2 cup or so of freshly grated mozzarella and put it on there. Then we're going to repeat that a few more times. I've got 3 more of our noodles, and then we're going to get another 1.5 cups or so of our meat sauce on there. Spread that out. Another 1/2 cup or so of our cream sauce, followed by another 1/2 cup of mozzarella. And we're going to do this a couple more times. And when we get finished there, we've got 4 layers of lasagna noodles. So the next thing I want to do here The first part of this cook is going to be done with this covered in foil. So I'm going to take a piece of aluminum foil and I'm going to spray the side of it with cooking spray and wrap this tightly with it where that won't stick to it. So I'll do that and then we'll meet you at the oven. Okay guys, my oven's running right at 400 degrees, and like I said, I want to be cooking between 375 and 400. And since I'm learning how this grill behaves, I'm going to set this dish up on a grill where there's a little bit of air gap between it, because I don't know how this oven, how this pan and this food's going to interact with cooking directly on the stones yet. So we're going to put that in there, and this stage of the cook's going to take 20 or 30 minutes. And then I'm going to, about halfway through that, I'm going to come around here and we're going to flip the pan. So we'll be back in 20 or 30 minutes to take the foil off. Okay guys, we've been going 25 minutes or so here. So I'm going to pull this out. We're going to get the foil off of it. And we'll get that back in there and let it keep cooking until it's done. Okay guys, this thing's starting to look pretty good here. We are about 45 minutes in on this cook. I want you to have a look at that. I don't think it's quite where I want it to be yet. I'm going to put it back in for just a few more minutes. Maybe 5 more minutes and we'll have another look. Okay guys. That, my friends, is perfect. That looks absolutely amazing. I'm going to rest that for about 15 minutes while I put a few other things together. And that's going to be dinner in the man cave tonight, and lunches and dinners for several more nights. So I'm impressed. The Alfa did a beautiful job here. I overshot the temperature when I first started, but I just let it come back down and I cooked on the downswing, and I had to add one more small chunk of wood in there to keep that going where I wanted it. But that looks amazing. So until next time, this is John Setzler with Man Cave Meals.